Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Nutmeg Sports and a happy Tuesday to you. Along the HAN Network with Donald Eng, I'm Rob Adams. We've got hockey. We've got some basketball to talk about. A little potpourri as we begin a Tuesday. Don, how are you?
Good, good. Can I take boys basketball for 100? What are we on for the potpourri?
Yes, it would be potpourri, basketball for 100. Gosh, I don't have a wisecrack there. There should be something.
That was all I had, actually.
Yeah.
There's no. If you're waiting for the clever follow-up, it's not coming.
No, it's really not. In any event, let's dive into today's show. We'll start with hockey. We had a couple of games last night on the HAN Network. Good to have some doubleheader action off and running. And we saw, we saw New Canaan just really perform at a high level. You know, you wonder, how good would the Rams be coming off the loss to Darien on Friday? You know, would they take it out on Ridgefield? And I thought Ridgefield would be a lot better, and not the case.
No, I mean, it's pretty clear. We said it the other day. It's pretty clear that the top two teams in the FCAC have really separated themselves from the rest of the conference. There's 1-2, then kind of the cliff. And as far as the state rankings go, you know, kind of the same thing, although to a much lesser degree. Darien and New Canaan appear to be the two best teams in the state, maybe just a half notch above some of the other teams that they've played earlier on in the year and beat them in competitive games, but beat them nonetheless. So, as we said earlier, those two teams will meet again.
So we've got some highlights for you of the girls' game. We'll talk about the boys' game as well a little bit later on. That was a much more compelling game. We'll get to that. But we've also got a very, very fun interview. Let's get things going with the highlight of the girls' games right now. And here's Granito starting back. Catherine Granito with a nice feed ahead to Gianna Bruno. Bruno almost all alone, puts it on net and scores.
Excellent rush for Gianna Bruno.
Small crowd on hand tonight, but a few folks applauding for the work of Gleason. Now on net, and they score. First. Right circle now, cross ice for the one-timer from Granito. A blast, and it's 3-0.
Unbelievable play for New Canaan.
But nobody home. In fact, it was a ram to clear the zone. Catherine Granito gets across the Ridgefield line, kind of puts on the brakes near the top of the left circle. Now dances away, goes top shelf, and scores. So in theory, Frank, Granito from Eccleston?
That is correct. It's Granito from Eccleston. She picks up the natural hat trick.
There you have it. I didn't bring any hats with me. 2.5 to go in the first. 4-0 now. 3 for Granito in the first period, and the Tigers just look out of sorts. To the ice we go. It's an all-Granito conversation. Frank, it's all yours.
And we're joined by Catherine Granito. Catherine, 5 points tonight, 4 goals. What did you guys do differently tonight to bounce back from the loss against Darien?
Darien definitely fueled us to step up our game. We weren't playing our best, and we knew that tonight was going to determine how the rest of the season was going to go. So we came out with a lot of fire in our belly and definitely played a stronger first shift.
Mia Carroll was all over the ice tonight on both ends. We saw her involved in the offense, involved in defense. What does she do that makes her such a special part of this team?
Mia is the key to our team. She holds us down on defense, and she's also really strong offensively. You'll see her skated a lot, and you'll watch people drop back for her. She just has that depth, and she's a really big key to our team.
You guys are in the home stretch of the season now. Do you think this team has enough to make a run at an FCAC and state championship?
I think so. I think that this, again, determined how we were going to play the rest of our season out, and I think it's going to be all uphill from here if we keep playing the way we are and keep working as hard as we are.
Thank you. I'll see you at home.
You know,
that's a great way to end the interview.
We have been doing this a long time. I don't think I've ever had to see that kind of an interview. That's my hearty laughter.
Was it?
No, I mean, that was fun last
natural.
night. Thank you. That really was fun. You know, the all Granito interview, and Frank's in a tough spot. He's handled it, perfectly fine, but he's a New Canaan guy, not that far out of high school to begin with, although he's finishing up college. He's now interviewing his own sister, and he's trying to make sure he keeps his own reputation and integrity square with, critics are critics.
All the while knowing that no matter what he says, he will be the subject of merciless mocking for essentially ever.
Yeah, I thought he did a good job, and I thought Catherine was great as well. And by the way, Catherine and Kate McMahon sent up, these truffles after the game that were just still ridiculous, but that's neither here nor there. But I do want to thank them again for a little sugar rush after the game.
It was fun to see, and it's also fun to see, it just when you. Even watching the highlights, you can just see like that New Canaan is playing on a different level than Ridgefield right now, anyway. I mean, obviously, but again, just looking forward to watching that team play some more.
I thought Frank's comments later on were very interesting. He said, and I'm quoting Frank Granito, that he was pretty, and he said this on the air, so I'm not talking out of school, that he's fairly confident with what he saw last night. That team can beat Darien now. And he thinks they should beat Darien.
Oh, I think they can too. I don't know that I would agree that they should. I do think I would give the edge to Darien. I mean, it's not an accident that they've won against New Canaan as much as they have. But no, I don't see any reason why New Canaan can't. They skate as well as Darien. They move the puck, and and they put the puck in the net. So no question about it. That is probably going to be the game of the tournament.
And again, I can't see any way, and obviously that's why we play the games. I can't see any way that you don't have Darien New Canaan not only in the FCAC championship, but right now, I don't know that there's a better two teams in the state.
Right. The northern or in the New Haven area co-ops, some of them are very good. They're all. If you look at some of the schedules online, some of those northern and eastern schools are good, and they've got 11-1 records, but their one loss is to a Darien, or their one loss is to a New Canaan. So even though you have like the Hamden Notre Dame co-op is 11-1, they've still, when they played, couldn't quite overcome Darien or New Canaan. No,
I just don't think they can, and I tend to wonder if they will. So I think it sets up for a wonderful later part of February into March with those playoffs and championships.
Right. I mean, and you never know how the seedings will work out. You just hope it's not one of those situations where possibly the two best teams in the state meet in the quarters. Probably won't happen. Maybe one of them might drop to a 3 seed because they play each other, and so in that case you might get it in a semi. But it looks like you're going to get that game again.
Yeah, I do tend to think so. But again, we got a lot of time to go, so that's why we're able to do what we do. Great stuff by those girls, though, last night. New Canaan just absolutely flying, coming off the loss to Darien on Friday night. Let's switch over to the boys' side now. And there were some rumblings before the game, and Don, I know you weren't down in Darien with us, but there were some rumblings among us and others saying that they felt Fairfield, the co-op, was not ready to play with Darien, and that, I heard talk of we're going to see 7-0 all over again. Not so fast.
I didn't think they were ready to play Darien myself. The win over New Canaan notwithstanding, New Canaan of a month ago was a different team than New Canaan is now. I didn't think they were ready to play Darien. I didn't think it was a 7-0 game, but I thought it had 4 or 5-0 written all over it. But that's why they play.
That is why they play, and that's why we get to call the games and have some fun with it. Highlights of last night's boys game, Fairfield the Co-op and the Darien Blue Wave. Gazzetta collects it out of the corner. Back to the top of the left circle. The blast coming. Oh, it's loose and it goes in!
Fairfield got exactly what they wanted. They got the Darien 3-man team out there, the 3-man penalty kill, on the shift, on the move, and then they get the traffic right in front of David Voigt, and they get the deflection. It lifts up, and the puck gets just enough momentum to get across the goal line.
3 minutes gone here, second period, 1-0. Fairfield on top, the Jake Fuss goal holding on so far, but here's the tie! Brown to tie it up!
And that all starts at the other end in the neutral zone. A poor change there by Fairfield. Screws them up in transition and allows Darien to go off the other way.
Thrown on net and deflected off into the corner. Kept in at the right point. That's loose again, and they score! Fairfield able to answer 2-1.
Rob, that's the only shot Fairfield has taken in this period, and they were able to put it in net.
Below our perspective here. Here are the Blue Wave chipping it through. It's loose and trying to climb the ladder and held on to by Grace. The best look came for Riley Mullen that time as they attacked with Herbie Hazelton and Max Romine as well. 5:28 to go second period, 2-1 Fairfield.
Darien in the last few minutes getting some good pressure in on Fairfield, really making Grace work.
To Berardinis near the hash marks, sends it back up top into the left circle, over there Knowlton. Knowlton on net, and he scores! A power play goal for Sam Knowlton knots us at 2. Hazelton feeds it ahead to DeBerardinis. Back to Knowlton. Knowlton, who tied it up with a goal before. Chipped along, and he scores!
Frank had a great view of it. From what it sounded like he went off the right post and squeezed it through.
Well, he did beat him on the short side. I wasn't sure if it caught a piece of the post or not, but what a nasty toe drag right in the slot, especially from the senior defenseman, showing off the hands and then the ability to finish. And the Blue Wave are back on top, 3-2.
When all was said and done, it was a 4-2 Fairfield, Darien win over Fairfield. Fairfield can hold. They need to find more offense than just Jake Fuss, for instance, and more answers to help out Mike Grace in net.
Right, they really do, and they also really need to establish more depth, because you saw that they could play, they could cobble a line or two together.
Yep.
They can play. They played with Darien in the first period. By the second period, you could see they were running out of gas, and in the latter half of that, and then into the third, it was just kind of target practice. But boy, that Fuss is a sniper.
Oh, absolutely. 47 shots for the Blue Wave, 40 saves, I believe the number was, according to Chris Cameron.
About a .915 save percentage, not too bad.
I mean, it was impressive. Now, to me, at this point, we talked about the end of the broadcast last night. There's no question Darien's the number 1 team. Greenwich, to me, suffered a hit because they lost in overtime to Hamden. And Hamden's good, obviously, but if Greenwich wants to be elite, they got to get all these wins. Obviously, they've already lost to Darien, and they play Darien again on the 15th. We'll have that game for you at 4 o'clock on the HAN Network. So, for my money, Darien's the definitive number 1 in the state. Greenwich, go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, I mean, I would put Darien 1. But then you run into this kind of weird situation that you get a lot with hockey, because Northwest Catholic is quietly a 9-1.
Yeah. What's their strength of schedule? Of course,
it's not good.
Yeah.
They're 6-1 against Division I teams, 3-0 against Division II. I mean, they beat Rice Memorial of Vermont. They beat 3 out-of-state teams that are considered Division I, and then they beat Hamden. But that's the Hamden who just beat Greenwich, so yeah, it's tough to say. Record-wise, you would have to put them up there, and they will be a high seed in the tournament, but I don't see them as being on the level of a Darien or even a Xavier or a Notre Dame.
Well, I guess that's what I'm getting at. If you had a vote in a state poll right now, my vote would be Darien number 1, no question. After that now, are we talking the Hamdens, the Xaviers? Where does Greenwich fit into all this now? I feel like Greenwich has taken a big step back, possibly down to 4 or 5. Will Fairfield Prep make that late run? Huzzah, Don.
I was at that Hamden game, and I thought they played very well. It is the best they've looked really in since last season against Notre Dame and Fairfield. I thought was the last time last year they really looked good. They looked very good against Hamden. Is the as they would say, is the evil empire finally awake? I don't know. They lost last night to a powerhouse Malden Catholic team.
Yeah.
But you just never know. I wouldn't put them into the top 10 yet because they haven't earned it with a 4-6-1 record. I would put them into the top 10. I wouldn't put them into the conversation for the top couple of spots, but they're definitely probably mid-pack in that top 10.
So I think FCAC-wise, you have to look Darien. I still think you have to look Greenwich number 2. Beyond that, I mean, is it St. Joe's? Is it Fairfield 3-4? Where's Ridgefield in that?
Could be New Canaan.
Yeah, I'm not there with New Canaan yet. I'm not there yet. New Canaan, and no disrespect to you Rams and Rams fans, I'm not there in a top 5 with you just yet. The numbers.
I wouldn't put him in the top 5. I would put him in the conversation for like the top 4 in the FCAC.
Yeah, I don't know if I would over St. Joseph or Fairfield.
Okay, well,
or Ridgefield.
Fairfield did beat New Canaan, which obviously makes the conversation a bit more interesting.
Right.
I think I would put them ahead of Ridgefield. The thing with Ridgefield is I'm trying to think of a way to phrase it. It's kind of hard to trust them. You don't really know which Ridgefield team you're going to get.
I agree with that.
Because they're capable of playing with anybody in the state, but they're also capable of putting up these head scratchers.
I'm more inclined to put New Canaan probably around number 6 right now.
In the state or in the FCAC?
In the FCAC.
In the FCAC. Wow, number 6.
Right now. They're close. which is going to set up for hopefully a great tournament. That's what I
want.
want.
For a great tournament because the fact that we're having a conversation on who is the second through sixth best team in the FCAC, and you can make a case for any of those teams. That means that there's quite a bit of parity, and that means quite a very fun FCAC tournament.
Great conversation. We need to take a timeout. When we come back, we will talk about the boys basketball polls. I've got the current or current, if you so choose. I also have Game Time CT. We can talk about both of those. Where does Fairfield Prep come into all that? What do we think of the Jesuits? We'll find out when we continue right here on Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network.
Here at the Darien Sports Shop, we are very excited about our newly redesigned men's department. Gentlemen, if you're shopping for work, weekend, or wedding, we've got the latest styles and trends inside our spacious new department just for you. We have vast selections from Peter Millar, Vineyard Vines, Johnny O, Duckhead, Barber, and so much more. And you can even walk out of the store in the new Wolverine 1,000-mile men's boot. Conveniently located with free and easy parking at 1127 Post Road, Darien, Connecticut. Or shop us online at dariensport.com.
While there's still a bite out on the water, most anglers have decided to stow the gear for the winter. Just because Mother Nature isn't cooperating doesn't mean you can't see the latest models of all your favorite gear. With 2 convenient locations, it couldn't be easier to get your fix of summer. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, or on the web, dockshop.com.
I'm Kate Chaplinsky. Join us for Coffee Break weekdays at 11 to get the latest Connecticut news, weather, high school sports, and more. News doesn't get any more local than on Coffee Break on the HAN Network.
You are watching the HAN Network, and you're not alone. Nearly 500,000 viewers enjoyed our broadcasts in the first 5 months. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Jessica Murrin, Advertising Director, at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Back with you on Nutmeg Sports. Oh, to tell you the off-the-air stories like the one Don just teased up before we came back from break. Something tells me I can't ask him about it. All right, as we move along on this Tuesday edition of Nutmeg, we did find the CIAC rankings, by the way. Xavier, the top team in Division I. Darien, Northwest Catholic, Notre Dame, West Haven, and Greenwich are the top 5, all legitimate. Division II, no shock. The Fairfield Co-op, North Branford, Guilford, South Windsor, North Haven in Division II, and then Division III, New Fairfield Immaculate, Staples West, and Shelton, which is a legitimately good team as well, 9-4 overall. Hall, Southington, Woodstock Academy, and Lyman, Haddam, Killingworth, and Coggeshall round out the top 5. That's a co-op, obviously. My only concern about Staples West and Shelton, 0-2 against D1, but then again, come playoff time, they don't have to beat Division I.
No, at least not in the state playoffs. Division III team, it's a big ask for a Division III team, especially a co-op to take on some Division I teams. Their Division I losses to New Canaan and Ridgefield, but then you look at it as a D3 team. They are 4-2 against Division II, and then 5-0 against Division III. So again, watch out for Staples West and Shelton come playoff time.
Let's have a little fun with these basketball polls. It's fresh off the griddle from Game Time CT and our good friends over there, Sean Patrick Bowley and so on. Shall we go 10-1?
Sure.
Let's do it.
Start at number 10 with a record of 11-1. Joining the poll for the first time this week, we have Bloomfield. The Warhawks lost to Simsbury last week, but then beat Rockville, and they hang in there in the top 10 at number 10.
Number 9 is East Catholic, losing to Windsor, defeating South Windsor, so they've got that going for them, which is nice. They sit there at number 9, down from 7 to number 8.
Number 8 is a real tough break Wilbur Cross team. They lost to Hill House in overtime and then defeated Shelton decisively. Wilbur Cross, the Governors, 10-2. They hold station at number 8 in the poll.
Crosby is number 7 at 11-2, up from number 10, defeating Derby, defeating Kennedy, and defeating Woodland. So a 3-0 week. They're 11-2 on the year to number 6.
Fairfield Prep drops 3 spots from number 3 to number 6. The Jesuits with a 12-1 record beat HAN, then lost to Hill House 44-40. That actually was their lowest point total of the season.
And you know they love that victory at Hill House, considering what happened at the end of last year in the state semis, a game you saw right here on the HAN Network. To number 5 is Hill House. They defeated Wilbur Cross in overtime 78-76 and defeated the aforementioned Fairfield Prep. Up from number 9, they jumped 4 spots, so says Casey Kasem. We move to number 4.
I just love that nickname, Academics.
I love that, the Academics.
It's unique, it's only Hill House. I think they are unique in the country for having the team nicknamed Academics. Number 4, moving up 1 spot from number 5 last week with a record of 13-0 is Newington. They only played once last week, defeating Berlin 66-39. So Newington, number 4.
We move now to number 3, and I'm just double checking on one of my favorite nicknames throughout the country, the Yuma Criminals.
Really?
Believe it or not, they play in an old prison.
Wow.
So there you go. We move.
I like it when you get the regional flavor on the team. It's kind of strange. It must be a strange sense, but the Aspen High School football team's nickname is the Skiers.
And so I'm not reflecting upon the good people of Yuma, Arizona. To number 3, the Weaver Beavers, another favorite name. They are 12-1 on the year, up from number 4, defeating Hartford Public and defeating Avon.
Number 2 is Windsor High School, steadily gaining ground on number 1. They hold station at number 2, getting 7 first-place votes. Windsor beat East Catholic, Bulkley, and Northwest Catholic last week. Nail-biter at Northwest Catholic. Bottom line, the Warriors got through their toughest week so far, 3-0.
And no surprise, 13 first-place votes, 12-2 on the year, defeating Seymour, Oxford, and Holy Cross. I mean, the Sacred Heart Hearts, to me, have been the best team all year. 12-2, as I said. They were number 1 last week. I think they're the best team in the state.
I tend to agree. And what's really amazing when you look at that team, when you see them on the court, is they just have size like a mid-major Division I basketball team. I mean, they've got about 3 players that go 6'8", and their backcourt players are 6'6" and 6'5". I mean, that's awfully tough to compete with in high school.
And you've got Division I talent there. I mean, it's pretty tough to look past them.
Right. You've got high major Division I talent with Heron. I'm not sure how.
Mustafa Heron.
Mustafa Heron. Yeah, he's a high major. There's 1 or 2 other probably mid majors on that team. Plus, they're also well coached. So there's really just so they may lose an in-state game, but I don't really see any team that's going to beat them.
I don't see them losing throughout the balance of this season. Not here in Connecticut.
No, I mean they play an NVL schedule, which is not bad. I mean Crosby is a very good team. Torrington's not too bad. Some of the Waterbury schools are also very good, like St. Paul. But St. Paul's a Bristol team, but Crosby and Kennedy are both good teams out of Waterbury. The problem is when they get to the state tournament, they're going to be in Class M, and there's just not any team in Class M that I think gives them problems.
Yeah, I think that's an absolute problem. By the way, you want to know another great mascot in this country, and this is a great one. It's just down the road across the border into New York.
It's down the road across. No, it's.
Once known as North Terrytown, now back to being known as Sleepy Hollow, the Headless Horseman.
That's not bad.
And their mascot truly is a Headless Horseman.
Wow,
very cool. Washington Irving, of course.
I always thought that Seminole was the greatest mounted mascot, but a Headless Horseman, that's got to be
Headless Horseman's pretty darn cool. We have to take another break here on Nutmeg Sports. We will come back and put a ribbon on a Tuesday edition. We'll talk a little bit of the balance of the schedule for this week because we've got some good stuff coming up. We'll do that when we return here on Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network. Denali is your outdoor retail destination in the Westfield Trumbull Mall. For the last 21 years, we have carefully selected clothing, footwear, and gear from a variety of the best outdoor brands, such as the North Face, Patagonia, Vineyard Vines, UGG, Merrell, GoPro, New Balance, and many more. Our stores have a friendly, knowledgeable staff to help you with all of your running, hiking, and cold weather needs, and in discovering all things outdoorsy and awesome. Visit us in the Westfield Trumbull Mall or online at DenaliOutdoor.com.
When you experience a sports injury, you want to get better and fast. Coastal Ortho Express gives you direct access to orthopedic care quickly. Their physicians are fellowship trained in sports medicine at world-class universities and are also team doctors for area football teams. For specialized personal care of sports injuries, go to Coastal Ortho Express, open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building, 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk, or coastalorthoexpress.com. Coastal Orthopedics, keeping you on the move.
Do you do a lot of running around but get nowhere when you're buying a car? Visit Pamby Chrysler Jeep Dodge and Ram for the one-stop buying experience and stop spinning your wheels.
It's the new year. The to-do list is long and it's easy to feel pulled in many directions at once. Your professional, personal shoppers at Walter Stewart's are ready to check groceries off your list by shopping for you. Save extra time this year and spend it doing more important things. Great food and wine delivered to your home with the same-day service. Shop Stewart's online at stewartsmarket.com.
I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a high school football coach. I'm a television presenter, and I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune in to Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN Network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office.
Welcome back to Nutmeg Sports here on the HAN Network. As we get ready to wrap up, I am just seeing note of an accident between exits 9 and 10 on the northbound side of I-95 down the line. In fact, there is a report, just a report of someone being injured. The extent of the injury we won't go into right now, but I'm just passing it along. So stuff to keep an eye on 95 northbound. That will obviously snarl traffic kind of unfortunately throughout the balance of the afternoon. Speaking of the balance of this week, and I'm tenuously, nervously excited for Thursday, track and field.
You know, that's track and field is really fun because, you know, the events are going on at the same time. There's a lot going on. It's if you've never seen it before in an inside arena, it seems kind of chaotic, but it's very fast-paced, and it is. It's a lot of fun. It's also at a great facility that we've never been to before.
I have never been there. I have heard great things about the Floyd Little Athletic Center at Hill House.
And great job by Hill House naming it after a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be. I think it's going to be fascinating. Like I said, I've heard great things about the arena. Certainly for basketball. You've been there for cheerleading.
I've been
events,
there for
right?
yes, I've been there for cheerleading and various other various other meets. But yeah, no, I've always enjoyed my time there.
And I'm going to get to see track and field, as will all of you. 4:30 on Thursday here on the HAN Network. Friday, double duty down at Norwalk High School. A doubleheader and another coaches officials versus cancer matchup this time. We had one of those not too long ago with Trumbull and St. Joseph. This time it is Brian McMahon and Norwalk. Boys and girls basketball. The girls at 5:30. Boys scheduled for 7:30. Could be earlier, could be later, but that's the way it's lined up right now. So the gang will all be down at Norwalk High School on Friday. And then
those inter-town doubleheaders are always fun.
They are fun, you know, and we've got another one next week with Ludlow and Ward at Fairfield Ward High School. Seth Fry takes such good care of us there. That's 6 and 7:45 next Thursday. And again, you know, in that case, I know, and we were talking to our dear friend Sean Saylor about this, he was saying, you know, these games might not match up badly. Ward is clearly, if not the best team girls-wise in the FCAC, they're right there. But, you know, Ludlow and Ward in boys, that could be a very evenly matched game, so I'm excited for that. And we'll see about McMahon Norwalk as well. Those could be evenly matched games. So, and again, rivalry kind of brings a whole different feeling to it.
Right, the rivalry always kind of makes the game. You always expect a little bit more competition because, you know, it's just the fact they try harder.
I've given you pretty much everything, so I might as well round out the schedule for you. Saturday, the FCAC cheerleading finals at Wilton High School, scheduled for 11 o'clock. We will have that for you. And Laurelton Hall and Trumbull. In girls ice hockey, 6:30. That's a new start time. 6:30. It was scheduled for 8:30. That is Monday night.
So that means I have 4 days to teach you the difference between a teddy bear cradle and a basket toss.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. We have time. I will be cramming. Trust me, I will be cramming. But yeah, we've got a lot of stuff coming up before all of a sudden we'll be diving into the team sports, you know, the hockeys and basketballs of the world, getting into, and of course wrestling as well, with all the championships, playoffs, and everything. Right here, you're home for it, the HAN Network. With all that said, we're basically at a half hour.
It's time to go already.
I mean, we were so smooth today, Don. There will be no overtime. We were like butter.
I don't even know how to follow that up. It's just, sometimes it works.
Sometimes you put it all together, and it does work. Thanks to Eric Gendron on the other side for helping us put it together. That will do it for Nutmeg Sports. Back with you tomorrow. I believe Dave Stewart's going to be standing right over there, but you never know. He's Dave Stewart. Could be Lola the cat. We'll see. That'll be tomorrow's show. Donald Eng, he probably will not be standing there tomorrow.
Probably not. I won't be too far away, but
he'll be somewhere in the neighborhood. For Donald Eng, for Eric Gendron, for AJ Simonowski, just because he's standing there looking like the muscle here in the group, I'm Rob Adams. Enjoy your day. And happy birthday, by the way, to one person. I will not give his name, but he's not too far away from this very microphone. For all of them, I'm Rob Adams. Enjoy your day. See you tomorrow. So long, everyone.